Hey there. Welcome to A Higher Dimension. I'm Gloria Danvers from Gloria Danvers Hypnosis in Orlando, Florida, and I'm your host for A Higher Dimension. As a hypnotherapist, I work with everyday people who are having extraordinary experiences in the fascinating world of past life regression, therapeutic hypnosis, psychic abilities, spiritual awakenings, and paranormal encounters. Every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m., join me and my guests as we explore their powerful stories and extraordinary journeys together. And sometimes it's just you and me. Solo episodes where I dive deep into metaphysical insights, spiritual concepts, and mind-expanding ideas that I think you'll find both useful and fascinating. Not only will you hear incredible stories, but we'll talk about what comes next. What happens after these life-shifting moments? How do they change you? Who are you now? What truths have you uncovered? We'll explore big questions through deep, eye-opening conversations that you don't want to miss. If you're interested in working with me and having your own transformational hypnosis experience, you can reach me at gloriadanvershypnosis.com. If you're here, chances are you're ready for something different, ready to explore yourself in the higher realms. So shoot me an email or book a free consultation. Maybe it's time for you to shake up what you think you know about the world, about yourself, who you've been, who your friends really are, and where you're headed. You can catch A Higher Dimension on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Podchaser, Spotify, YouTube, and iHeart.com. But right now, let's sit back, relax, and uncover the hidden depths of the human experience right here on A Higher Dimension. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to A Higher Dimension. I'm Gloria Danvers from Gloria Danvers Hypnosis in Orlando, Florida, and I'm so honored that you're here with me today. Whether you're walking, driving, relaxing, or just giving your mind and spirit a moment to expand, I want to thank you for making time and space for this podcast. When you hear some of the episodes of A Higher Dimension, it's easy to only picture past life experiences, psychic downloads, or extraordinary otherworldly phenomena. And yes, those things and experiences are real and beautiful and very much a part of what I want to create here at A Higher Dimension. But there's another layer, and today we're going to touch upon the deeper aspects of who and what we are on Earth, kind of a deeper current, if you want. One that doesn't just visit the metaphysical, but roots into the sacred architecture of your own being. Because the higher dimensions aren't just up there. They're in here, in the hard, holy work of identity, of integration, of choosing who you become when no one's watching, exploring the idea that instead of looking towards the universe as a separate energy, that you understand that you are, in fact, the universe. And this is spiritual work, too. Maybe the realest kind. Not because it's glamorous, but because it's foundational. This is where you stop chasing the light and start becoming the source. So if you're ready for the visions, the regressions, the downloads, the psychic intuitions, you're ready for this. The deeper initiation, the embodiment, the spiritual infrastructure that makes you magnetic, not just to mystical experience, but to a whole new timeline of being. And if you're listening today, you're not just interested in expanding your life. You're interested in changing your frequency. You're not asking what to do. You're asking who you need to become to call in the timeline, the love, the peace, the power, and the purpose that already exist for you, just on a slightly different setting. Today's episode is called Becoming Magnetic, being the signal, not the seeker. This topic came through very clearly after the interesting responses I received from the last episode on timeline jumping. Several of you messaged me saying it helped you feel inspired and got you in motion. A few of you really resonated with the podcast because you had been experiencing the very things that I was talking about. And so the idea was born that things weren't really falling apart. They were actually falling together. So today we're going to explore the concept of creating who you are so that you can move into that new timeline. And that's what this episode is about too. Not just knowing your power, but living it. We're going to explore the idea that your identity is not fixed. In fact, your identity is a choice. And when you choose an identity that is magnetic, aligned, and intentional, reality begins to respond differently. It reorganizes around your frequency. So let's take our time today and go deep. Settle in. Take a breath. And let's begin. What is magnetic identity? It's not just a visualization. It's not pretending. It's energetic authorship. It's the premise that you are not just a passive observer of life. You are a creative force. You are shaping the quantum field with every word, thought, emotion, and yes, every identity that you step into. So let's break that down. Your identity is like a transmitter. Imagine that you're a radio tower. Whatever signal you emit, the universe reflects back to you in the form of people, opportunities, experiences, and patterns. If your signal says, "I'm always struggling," you'll receive more struggle. If your signal says, "I'm magnetic to miracles," then miracles will find their way to you, often unexpectedly, often elegantly. Now, I want to make something clear. This isn't about blame. This isn't about bypassing the very real struggles that we all go through. It's about reclaiming authorship. It's about saying, even if I didn't choose these conditions, I can choose who I become within them. And that, my loves, changes everything. Here's something to sit with. Your thoughts don't create your reality. Your identity does. Because it is your identity that selects the thoughts that you give weight to. It is your identity that decides what's possible for you. It's the operating system behind every decision, reaction, and action you take. Think about this for a moment. A person who sees themselves as a leader naturally behaves differently than someone who sees themselves as powerless. Even in the same room, even with the same resources. Two people walk into the same opportunity. One sees it as a threat. The other sees it as a launch pad. The difference? Identity. And here's the beautiful part. Identity is not static. You can shift it, you can evolve it, you can craft it like a sculptor with clay. But first you have to get clear on who you've been and who you are now being called to become. It is taking ownership of your own mastery. So let me ask you, who are you becoming? What version of you already lives the life that you dream of? Really feel that for a moment. If you could sit down with that version of you, not in a fantasy, but as a real living aspect of your consciousness, what would they say? Would they hold their hand and look into your eyes and say, "Speak your truth"? Would they say, "Trust yourself more"? Would they say, "Move your body"? Or, "Stop apologizing"? laugh more. And my favorite one, get serious about your magic. Would they say you already are what you're seeking? Here's a powerful exercise that you can do. Write a character description of your magnetic identity. What do they wear? How do they speak? How do they move? What do they no longer tolerate? What do they radiate? You might find this version of you isn't so far away. You might find that you're already halfway there. Or maybe, just maybe, all it takes is one conscious choice to activate that identity in real time. I've done this in my life, having many successful adventures, both personal and in business. Because I know the seeds of success are within me, they aren't dependent on what's outside, but in me, and so I take that with me everywhere I go. That's my identity. I don't recognize problems, I only see challenges, and they're exciting. I have made myself that person. This is my identity. And so what was born in my soul now manifests in my reality. Now I want to introduce you to the concept of the archetype. In mythology, psychology, and spiritual traditions, archetypes are powerful symbols or patterns of behavior. The healer, the mystic, the warrior, the queen, the rebel, the oracle. These are not just stories. These are energies that you can access. A person who identifies as a healer will naturally attract people in need of healing. A person who identifies as unworthy will unconsciously reject opportunities that prove otherwise. A person who decides I'm magnetic to miracles will begin noticing the portal in every obstacle. A person who decides that the seeds of success live within them is a person that will look for new opportunities and take chances. So you ask yourself, what archetype am I ready to embody? And not someday, now. Let's do a quick invocation together. I now call in the version of myself who is aligned with the highest expression of my purpose, my peace, and my power. I give myself permission to become them now, to walk as them, speak as them, think as them, and love as them. You can replay that part as often as you like. This is not about faking confidence. This is about remembering sovereignty. Let me give you a simple daily practice to start stepping into your magnetic identity. Let's call it the morning mirror activation. Stand in front of a mirror. Breathe deeply into your body. And feel yourself arriving into your body, fully embodying yourself in the body. Look into your own eyes and say, I am the version of me who attracts what is meant for me. I'm aligned. I am magnetic. I am ready. And give yourself a smile. And then go about your day with that smile tucked in your energy field. You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't have to feel like a superhero. You just have to commit every day. Every small act is a signal to the universe. A flag that says, I'm here. I'm claiming this. And the universe responds. Why? Because you are the universe. When you commit to that small act, the universe in you responds to that vibration. You are training reality to recognize your new identity. You are training yourself as the universe to create that new identity and then to step into it. And of course, stepping into a new identity also means releasing the old one. And that's where the grief can come in. Sometimes we mourn those old stories, even if they were painful, because they were familiar. Let yourself grieve the versions of you that kept you safe, that got you through, the versions of yourself that didn't know what you know now. And thank them. And then say goodbye. You do not owe anyone your past. You only owe yourself your truth. And here's what I want to leave you with today. You are not waiting for a portal to open. You are the portal. You are the point of convergence between possibility and embodiment. And the moment you shift your identity, you shift timelines. Let that sink in. You're not becoming someone else. You are becoming someone more true. And reality is listening to your own vibration, your own spiritual music, and living from that space. Thank you for being with me today. And if this episode moved you, inspired you, or helped you remember something about who you really are, I'd love to hear from you. Share your archetype with me. Let me know what you're claiming. And as always, if you feel called to share this episode with someone you love, please do. Until next time, stay magnetic, stay sovereign, stay true to yourself, and be open to whatever comes from those higher dimensions. And that's a wrap. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that I've managed to pique your interest, raise your curiosity, give you something to think about, teach you something that you didn't know before, or send you down a major rabbit hole. If you're curious about what I do, shoot me an email. Go on to my website, gloriadanvershypnosis.com, and book a free consultation. Let's discover something about you that you didn't know. I'll be back next week, and until then, stay curious. Stay open to all the things that come in for you through higher dimensions.